today's session is all about, how we can create and maybe take our career to a more advanced level, and how automation tools can help us, in that advancement. And and automation tools are something of, hype as of now, and I think they agree with the value that they bring on. So this demonstration is going to tell you how we as a company has created a product, and how that product is ultimately going to ease that hard work that developers do, how it can bring a value to you guys. So we're going to start with the presentation now. And there are some rules with the presentation, right? So the first one to do that is, so we can, you can keep the mic on mute. And if you guys have any problem, any doubts in between, you are most than welcome to put your question in the chat window, and we'll be able to answer that, right? That's the second one, of course. Post your question during the AMA session. Okay. So you can use a chat for quick thoughts and interactions as well, between. And this will tell us, how the community, of course, you guys are interacting with the product. And we'll be able to help you out along the way, right? And I believe that in this way that we can stay engaged, and then we can experiment along. And my all wishes is that this product can bring some good value to your development journey. And if you're able to do that, then I think making it interactive is one way to move forward with, right? So with this thing, it's just I'm going to move ahead. Since we have released this product, our entire community to ultimately utilize it. So Kwala, it has released a hacker house also with Dora hacks, right? And their registration has started on September 6th. Now, I'm not going to take too much of the time and jump right to what the product is, but I'm just going to reiterate something that on 6th of September, the registration has started. And we have definitely have webinars on every Wednesday and Friday. So you have the webinar sessions, the dates are mentioned over here for this month at least. We also have a Kwala Hacker House, which is ultimately going to be in our office in the NCR facility. I extend that, we have our Discord community, right? Discord server. If you guys can join there, and, on that Discord channel, if you have any views, we will be checking out all the interactions that you guys have added there. And whatever, I think the demonstrations or anything that you have built upon, on basis of that, we are going to send out some invites only to you guys. And that's how we are going to create an Koala Hacker House for the in-office people, right? Apart from that, we are also releasing some Zapolia test and free credits, right? I hope this is going to bring some value again, because Zapolia credits again is like a very good credits that developer community has in order when they are breaking some amount of development activities. And using this automation platform, I think you can utilize those. What is the Web3 space today, which is happening, right? We all have been realizing that, okay, there are a lot of jobs year on year have been increasing. At least the job portal says that year on year there is a 30% average increase, year on year increase of rate. That is 30%, the Web3 number of jobs which are increasing, right? And it's ultimately going to be increased every day. And 68% of enterprises, they are saying that experimenting with workflow automation is ultimately the next achievement or our next level of thing that companies are experimenting with. And they would definitely want to increase and integrate these kind of environments where the entire infrastructure works smoothly. And I believe that this is one of the reason, a very good reason, where a product can actually create some value. And that is how what we are going to demonstrate here in this session. Top three most in-demand skills are basically, that we have written the smart contracts, APIs, and then automation. I think all of us have carries some amount of experience with smart contracts. We carries with API. I think this is a time when we carry a lot of those experience with automation also. That is something that we are going to demonstrate how automation can bring such amount of value to your life, especially Web3 automation. Web3 automation can literally make you stand out. Automation cut delivery deadlines by 40 to 60%. Now that's happening being Web2 also, Web3 also. But automation in Web3 again is a complicated stuff, right? You need to create a lot of infrastructure, hardware, and everything else. Apart from that, from hackathons to full-time automation, I think this is your lane. Now, one of the platform that on which we are going hackathon is Dora Hacks, right? That is, I think, one initial step that you guys can take. And if you think that this product could be one of the thing, then you can at least experiment and join on the Dora Hacks. It's a very good platform to actually experiment with how this thing can be posing a true value for your career. Next, that we have developers with automation skills, that they are likely to get, they have a potential of 200% likely to get protocol roles. And then, be versatile, of course. You have a lot of, verticals in blockchain. You have DeFi, NFTs, DAOs. Automation applies everywhere. If you try to think of an idea, I think we are a platform where you can, utilize this product. You can, take your idea to the next level in few minutes, I would say, few hours. Depends upon your idea, but I think we can help you out. I'm going to start with how the traditional, development has been happening for quite some time, and this is a side by side comparison, which ultimately I'm going to provide here, right? Now, if I say that what is Kwala, before you understand what is Kwala, I really want you to understand that what was the traditional development things that we were doing as a developer, how many things that we had to take care of. And once that part is done, now then we'll understood that, okay, why do you think that there was a gap and what kind of a product are we building? So if you see about the traditional development, if I have to create any product and I have to deliver it, right, there is a lot of development time, there's a lot of team size that are required, technical expertise that are required, right? There is infrastructure management, security audits that we have to do. Of course, there is again the maintenance cost, right? You have scalability issues that you have to maintain, multiple amount of dApps, moreover use cases. Of course, you can't control the end user, right? Who is coming from who's like whatever blockchain. Of course, most of the tabs they require the cross chain support, right? Multi-chain support, and then you have time to the market also. How soon can you go? For any kind of idea to create, right? I think the sooner you go, the better. So traditional development, if you think each and every time, you have a large amount of time for actually going to the market. Okay, you have a lot of time to develop your product, right? You need to have a good quality amount of team size, and you need to have some great skills in your team tech, right? So that you can actually build a good end product for your site. Again, and when it goes back to the infrastructure management, the complex server setup, again, it is going to take a toll on you. Ongoing maintenance, scalability issues. I mean, there are a lot of things that a person or a startup or a developer, they have to foresee so that, if they are building something, they can actually deliver it very well to the market. At the end of the day, it's the user who's decide whether it's a great product or not. And that is when Kwala comes into picture. So if you see, there is a rapid development that Kwala can provide for you. Okay, so development time is something that Kwala has really built upon. So if you just wanted to create, the all the manual things that a developer has to go through all these phases of the life and then to the maintenance, into the support, right? That's what we wanted to create something where you guys or anybody else, any business, any developer who's taking anything their idea to the market, I think they should be having very least effort in creating and maintenance, right? And that's something I think we intend to build, right? So Koala development, if you do, right, with Koala, if you do, if right, it's going to take a lot of care for your middleware. It's going to radically reduce the development time for 1 to 2 weeks, right? It's going to radically decrease your team size from 1 to 3 engineers to start with, of course. And then all you need for the basic middleware integrations is your YAML configuration. And for that also, as a product, we also have our AI setup, which ultimately helps you to write that camel configuration so that you can achieve better results. Okay, so there are security audits which you guys have to do. I don't think so you need to do it anymore. It is already in built-in verified execution. You have very minimal amount of operational cost, and again, the scaling is built in. You don't need to worry about the scaling, and in that same space, you don't need to carry about the multi-chain support. So currently, this product it supports EVM chains. It is about being ready to go to the market. I think with Koala, you takes maximum about 1 to 2 weeks, starting with the POC, and then of course you can increase the time how about how the market behaves. So since I have told what was a native way of doing things and where exactly in this picture we are putting in Koala so that the efforts can be utilized somewhere else, right? In terms of example, we have a lot of examples where Quora can be utilized. I think in that space, I'm going to take an example of, cross-chain bridge for now. And specifically in cross-chain bridge, we have two major functionalities, that how it operates. So one of them basically is through tokens, and another of them is exchange of native currencies, right? So I'm going to take a minute. I'm going to talk about, here that about token exchange, right? Basically, if you have two blockchains and you need to create a bridge, right, for a user who is duty formal and he wants to do some kind of transaction where two of the blockchains are involved, right? For some same asset which has to be invocated at one blockchain and another, you need to have some sort of bridging functionality in between, right? So this kind of use case is something which has already been built, right? The cross-chain bridge, where you actually lock the asset, right? And then once the asset is locked, the event is emitted, right? You validate the consensus, of course, and then you do generate the proof, you relay on the message. After that, you send the message for to the another chain where your asset is minted. That asset is called your wrapped ether. If it is ether, which is I'm taking an example as, right? And there your token is minted again in the wrap token. Once that value is utilized, your asset in chain number one is ultimately released. This is a conventional flow where any bridge who has developed it, right? They has to set up each and every layer on its own to actually make it accessible. And now think that this is just between two chains. If you have to establish between multiple chains, let alone EVM, then imagine the amount of technical expertise, products, I would say middleware services that we have to write to create such versatile product. So even imagining is difficult, and when you are going to carry it out, it's ultimately going to take a lot of time with you, right? Testing, QAs, and everything. Now, what Koala brings in this whole space is you can choose the asset lock, you can choose the asset mint to whatever smart contract that you want to write, whatever blockchain you want to invoke, and the middleware for event emission, validator consensus, proof generation, message relay. If you want, Koala can take it up for you. All you need to do is just you need to write a workflow. You need to tell them that, okay, this is a blockchain where my smart contract is residing. I want to transfer an asset from this particular blockchain, right? So what you are going to define in the workflow or such a template as YAML template that we have been talking about is that from which source A you want to actually take an input, right? Which is the event which is ultimately when it's triggered, which is event that you want to capture, right? Once that event is captured, how do you want to process that event? Then how do you want to proceed with the actions, maybe consensus and proof generation, if you want? How exactly will you move that action to the different chain? So with Koala, you can actually listen to the event, and of course with this chain, because we have the YAML configuration, we can do the invocation as well. So you are also able to invoke the transaction to any different chain that ultimate EVM pin that we support, right? That is one example that ultimately Kwana can help you out with. How, if I talk about the development comparison of transactional bridging with Koala Bridge, if we have to create it, right? Then in transactional bridging, right, backend logic ultimately is going to be a centralized backend service. We are ultimately going to control what is going to be invocated again for going through every layer that you have to set up centralized, right? And then you have to do the invocation. But then in case of Koala bridging, again, the entire server setup is automatically being taken care of by this product, right? So all you have to do is actually just write a workflow so that the system can understand that what you want from him, okay, what the product has to do so that it can satisfy your use case, right? In terms of traditional bridging, you have event, if I talk about event monitoring, right, you have an RPC polling infrastructure. Now, each and everybody of us, we know, right? Then, in case of polling, right, you need to have like very high latency. The cost distribution cost is ultimately too high. You need to keep it polling again and again, and you don't know if in between of a transaction or something is being reversed. You will never know about it. But in case of Koala, if you think this is again the event level distribution that we guys have done. So, if the event is emitted, right, you will be notified by it. You don't have to pull in again and again, right? And that's how you are ultimately going to manage your infrastructure and again your costing of the product as well. In terms of infrastructure, right? Traditional bridging they have a custom server management as we have already told. But with Koala, you have serverless execution. With multi-chain support, you have multi-chain integrations again. And Koala, of course, you have again multi-chain interactions with EVM chain that we are supporting right now. But again, in future, we're going to also going to support all the other chains. With respect to the development time, traditional business again, because you will be starting from scratch, maybe you'll be taking a lot of different products or services into picture. But again, there will be months of coding before you finally get to a product where you can actually deliver something. Now think about Kwala bridging. If you have taken this product as a middleware for you, right, and you provide this product some of the input so that it has to work on its own. You don't have to care about any of the routing that you have to do. You don't have to care about any of the event-driven sections, any of the actions that you want to take. You don't need to worry about where you need to send the data, how you need to send the data. I mean, there are multiple vertical factors that we need to take care of as a developer before we can ship our product. If there is a service dedicated for you to actually create that entire system, I think that makes the job very easy. And with respect to maintenance, traditional bridging, they have ongoing infrastructure operations. And Koala, it is zero maintenance, especially for you. Don't need to maintain anything. Let us handle the hard job. You guys can take care of it. The easier bit. So what I have right now over here is right. I have Koala workflow. I have so basically in a workflow, what do you do? Right. In a workflow, you have a trigger, you have an action, right? So think about something, okay? Let's say that I want to build something or communicate something anywhere, right? Let's say that I'm defining it in terms of if and else conditions, right? That if this activity happens, do this, else do this. A very simple scenario that we, each and everybody of us developers, we have written this kind of similarities, right? That if some condition truly satisfy your scenario, then do this, otherwise do this, right? Whatever it is. Now, think of it like that you are creating a trigger within a statement. You are telling them that if you are getting such kind of a trigger statement, as in whatever, you have a smart contract that you have to listen to. If you are listening to the smart contract and you got an event, that is a true state for you, right? Then another necessary set of conditions you can try. If you have listened to that again, what kind of a condition that you want to specify on that event listener, right? If it's satisfied your needs, right? So if you see about it in the trigger section, you have a contract event and then you have the conditions on which once you have received the event, you can check the conditions whether it's satisfied or not. Now, once those events are satisfied, you can actually put in the actions. If those are satisfied, what exactly do you want to do with it? Do you want to call it? Do you want to reevaluate any other event? Do you want to set it back to the contract? Do you want to actually integrate to some kind of Web2 backend service which is running behind the system? What exactly do you want to do? You think imaginable or unimaginable, whatever it is. I think this product has the capability to help you out. There are, of course, in Web3 career with automation skills, right? I think you can literally level up with it. I think the first thing that we guys have to do is, we have to adapt to our automation first mindset. I think now in 2025 and before also, I'm just taking from the past where AI is being coming in, right? We need to have an AI adoption mindset, of course, right? The very core of bringing this programming language to the system is we want our system to automate. We want it to ultimately help us out by programming all the calculations to be done. And now we have come advanced in our, all these things that we now can ultimate, automation drivers on top of it also, right? Going back to the history from 1970s, 1890s, how does, we used to write code just to create a simple program where it can automate for our calculations or something. And now we are actually in this space, we are automating all these use cases, all these mindset, complex infrastructures. This is one of, platform which ultimately adheres to the core concepts of it, right? If you think about it, I mean, as a Web3 journey, you have Alchemy, you have QuickNode, you have Chainlink. And I think this is a time where you will have Kwala also. It is very easy to deploy, even smart contract with Kwala, it can be deployed within seconds. This is one of the things that we guys want you to have. Why? Because if you do that, I think in just one platform, you'll be able to, invocate something, transact with it, create all these workflows that you guys want, right? That is one just added advantage for you. Again, so we have our hackathons also. Now, what I want you here is that, I really want this community to actually be excited because you can literally showcase and what kind of idea can you build on this product. And we just want to imagine what kind of height can any idea take in. It is your idea, it is your mind, it is this platform. You take it, utilize it, build a great product that you guys can build. And I think we are able to support you to the very extent of it, right? And I hope this kind of a product, if you learn and if you grow on it, I think this is ultimately going to unlock a very high impact for you guys. We have some Web3 as a lot of tools, to kickstart a journey. We have Footnote, Alchemy, we have Chainlink, right? I think most of you guys would have heard about these tools. So whatever these tools do, I think, right? So we have a detailed platform comparison also, right? That where do you picture Alchemy? Right? Where do you picture QuickNode? And then where do you picture Chainlink and Kwala with you? If I talk about setup complexity, right? Alchemy, QuickNode, right? Alchemy, it does vary, of course, right? Alchemy works with API integration. QuickNode, of course, works with node setup, right? Chainlink again is a different, it is lying in a different framework, but then it's complicated to set up, right? For Oracle integration. But then with Kwala, dude, all you need to do is YAML configuration. That's it. You don't need to do anything else. And for that, also, you have an assistant with you who's ultimately going to be 24/7 working with you, understanding what you want, to operate on and how can it write a better YAML for you guys. Then you have a development time, right? In Alchemy, again, it's going to take hours and days, quick node hours, days, right? Chainlink also, it can take up 2 weeks, but in Koala, it's ultimately going to take very few minutes for you. If you are good at YAML, I think it's going to take very least amount of time for you, right? The moment you click and deploy it, it's going to work with you. With the amount of technical expertise, I think if I'll go to Alchemy, Footnote, and Chainlink, you guys need typical good amount of technical expertise because you want to understand how do you want to utilize the product, right? But over here, all that matters is how do you write the configuration file. You write the configuration file, let this product work with you, right? You have infrastructure management, and then you have customization tools, right? Again, with infrastructure management, we are serving serverless. So that's again one most important thing that where we put ourselves as automation workflow, and then you have customization level. For us, it's all about workflow logic. The the quality of the logic that you guys create, that quality is something that Koala has the ability to perform on, right? If you talk about use cases, right? I think, of course, we are going to stick because the tool works on workflow automation. But again, if you think about workflow, it's a very big task, right? Again, it can be integrated, it can be developed, it can be reformed any working product into something which can handle a lot of transaction occur, a lot of pain points very easily, right? That is something that I think that everybody, with existing products, we can understand how if this product would have been built with Koala, what kind of a change would have bring it, whether we would have been able to do a much better product in a much lesser time, right? Whether it's going to increase our interactivity. So that's something that, brings a lot of use cases with Koala. With something which is not already built, with something which is already built, how you can enhance it. And then, of course, the cost model, right? This is again the execution based model. Whatever you do, it depends upon how do you execute it, right? We have some tier pricing that is available on Kwala.net listing. I hope really you guys go to the website, try it out, go check out the talks, right? Okay, so I have this last slide for you, which is ultimately, I have talked about Kwala, I've talked about Oracle, I've talked about Alchemy with Node. Of course, there are a lot of platforms, in this Web3 world. uh, it's too much to take in. I understand. Again, you have Alchemy Node. I'm just going to understand. I'm just going to club, for the better knowledge. I'm just going to club that where exactly these platforms are residing, right? I'm not saying that you need only Koala, right? But again, for use case, if you can club Koala with all these scenarios, how will you do it, or where will those positions be lying? So Alchemy and Quicknode, they can be clubbed as a infrastructure providers where Chainlink can be termed as an Oracle services, right? But then Koala is ultimately will be the one who can automate the workflow entirely on any of these services. So that's the power that Koala brings in, right? Easy to automate, easy to integrate any way that you want. I'm seeing some questions that sometimes this product is again lacking or somewhere. But guys, I'm assuring you, right? We are just starting up. It is really the very first step that we have taken. And I understand that you might be facing some bugs, but let me assure you the team is working 24 into 7 just to make sure that we literally take care of the bugs relentlessly for you, right? All you want to do is literally create this product, a very good platform, so that you can have a very good time exploring it, working on it, building it. And I hope that I am able to deliver what you guys expected. Tushar, so we have another key person here, Tushar. Tushar is actually the founding blockchain engineer who has worked with Koala Automation. So I think, guys, please welcome Tushar Bunsen. Tushar, you can take your bus team. I'm going to exit the presentation.
Thank you, Ashish. Hi, everyone. Hi, everyone. Let's start with our website. So, this is Kwala.network. If you want to start, as Ashish has explained, I think most of the things, what exactly Kwala does, where you can use it, how it solves your problem, and how YAML helps. Just with the YAML, you can start your product, and your half of the main chunk. I mean, your writing, handling the event services, and managing your backend monitoring service, all sort of such kind of problems get resolved. So All you need to do is you just need to come to Koala Network if you want to try it out. Click on Start Building, connect MetaMask, go to Workflows, and go to My New Workflow. Over here, you can create your YAML and save it, compile it, deploy it. To create workflow YAML, there is an option, Workflow Builder. You go over there, and then you can put the relevant information, as Ashish has already explained. In the YAML, there is a trigger part and then action part. The trigger part where you want that if such kind of conditions are being met, please perform my certain action. So over here, I will be making one testing builder, builder two. Click on next. It's just a name that I have given to my workflow YAML. And over here, there are options that you want an event based, timestamp, Oracle price based, block number based um, trigger to be happen. So let's take an example over here, and I will be taking a very simple example of like a celebrity PR. Imagine that there is some kind of celebrity who is having some minting contract, performing minting operation on their contract. Like we can take example of Amitabh Bachchan who is minting an NFT, and you are running a PR company. So you want that whenever Amitabh Bachchan performs a minting, you get an update, you get a notification, and for that, if you want, then you will have to write code, and in that code you will be making an interaction, making a connection with their contact address and having the event signature. Will be making sure that whatever the logic you have written, that particular service is up and running. You will making sure that if any event is being emitted, that is not being missed from your service side. So it is just for just to get the notification, you have to handle all sort of scenarios, and that too only for one superstar. What if you want for others as well? And not only for the minting, if they do any kind of activity that they are updating their profile, anything. So in that case of scenario, Kwala can help you. In case of Kwala, all you need to do is you need to provide under the trigger that you want to listen to Amitabh Bachchan's contact address and any superstar's contact address, provide the event signature, and under the action you need to provide your backend service API that whenever certain. So what Kwala will take care is that whenever any event will be emitted, then your backend API will get a notification of that. Yes, that particular action is being done. So if I want to perform this action and I want YAML to create, so the steps are going to be like, imagine that this is the contact address which I want to listen to, and this is the address. So I will be taking up this address. We'll be going here. So yep. So inside, coming to the trigger part again, there is an execute occur repeat every. Execution means that you want an event based, and that whenever you just give build this, deploy this YAML, then it starts right away. And repeat after, you are saying that it does not happen only once; it happens every time. There is an expire sync that you are also giving an information that you want it to stop after a certain time. So we need to provide timestamp over here. Let me take the latest timestamp and let my data value 3, yep, after 17 minutes. Okay, then comes the triggering information that yep. So over here I need to provide the information that which contact address on which chain ID, what event signature I want to listen to. So that information will be available from the Explorer. So I this particular chain code exists on Amar Polygon, and the event signature is also available over here. Inside the events, I can get the event name. Make sure while passing the event, there should not be any white space. Only pass data types over there. You also need to provide a smart contract uh, as well, complete smart contract that will also be available over here. Inside the recurring, I need to mention over here that this is for that if my workflow YAML is being deployed, so this will take care just right away whenever the first event will be getting triggered. But as I said that I mentioned over here that I want it repeatable, so I need to provide this certain information again over here. This is the same information. So let me do it very quick now. So what we can go ahead, file settings, any the Steam API it is going to be over there. So I'm just pasting it. This is going to be the status URL. So basically the status URL is that whenever you have deployed any kind of workflow YAML, you want to see the status of it, whether it is the particular name that you gave, that whether it is working or not. And if you are noticing that over there, like whenever any superstar is performing any activity on the contract, then event is being emitted, but is it your particular YAML is capturing it or not? So there is an dashboard available where you can see the status as well. So this is the link of this particular dashboard. Next, over action, you need to provide the action which exactly you want to perform. So whenever any activity that particular superstar will be doing, you want your backend service to be notified. So let's give it a name, AK call. And whatever the API endpoint you have, like imagine this is the API endpoint. Basically, this is running in the backend. You need to provide this API payload JSON. So over here, you need to provide with the regex. Whenever any activity would be happening, as in case of the event, parameters will be emitted. Like let me show you over here. Yeah. So over here on the event, you can see that there is a string and the event is being updated, and you want to capture those. So you can capture those using the regex, because the regex format is also available, and it is ready with me. And this is the H. And if I click next, create workflow, and yep, so the workflow is being created. That's how you can create your workflow builder. All you need to do is now save, compile, and deploy, and that's it. I've already done this part, so I don't know how to do it. And so that's how you can basically initiate. Now let's jump to the demo. So as I said, if we want to achieve this kind of functionality, Kwala can do that. So in case of Kwala, all you need to do is that you need to create an YAML, provide content address event signature inside the trigger. Inside the action, you need to provide your backend URL, and that's it. You will get the update and notification. So over here, I have one contract deployed on Polygon Amoy, and this is a very simple contract. Imagine I am some person, some kind of uh, Bollywood star, Hollywood star, which is having this particular contract and updating, making an interaction with this contract, updating my profile. And this is kind of a PR company that they are kind of monitoring that if any kind of person, any kind of superstar is doing such kind of activity, so we'll get a notification over there. So if I will perform any kind of right operation, imagine I Tushar, I put age. So over here, the transition is being confirmed now. And pretty soon over there will be notification will come up over here. Yes, that I have done some kind of activity on this particular contract. Anyone can do that. As of now, this particular contract is publicly available. If you want, I can share the link in the chat. You guys also can give it a try if you have Metanods to sign the transaction. So this was very simple example of Kwala, that how exactly Kwala works. Now, if I take it to the next level, like it was very simple one where there was one contract and event was being emitted. There is a backend server which is listening. But what if we want to take it to the next level? The next level is that you are kind of orchestration, that some activity is being performed on your contract one, and then you want to perform an activity on contract two. When certain conditions are being met. So we have one more demo, and which is points demo. Over there, the game is like clear update and update, and there is the condition is being written for this particular demo. So now if I come back, okay, let me roll a dice. So if I roll a dice, Yep. So I got three. If I check points, okay, I got checkpoint zero. I got the checkpoint zero because it is a blockchain transaction, and whatever the chain I'm interacting behind, it takes some time. It is sometimes it takes 5 seconds, sometimes it takes 10 seconds. It depends chain to chain. So yep. So the points is being updated, and if I will see over here and the transaction. I should have a transition. Yep, 19 seconds ago, I got a confirmation that the transition is being done. And so basically, the transition is being done. So against that, if I will check an NFT status, I should get a yep. So I got the preview. So basically, what happens was there was one smart contract, and we have already a YAML deployed, which is trigger and action based. Inside the trigger, we have mentioned the contract address of this particular points contract, event signature. Again, this particular at points event signature we have mentioned, and under the action, instead of making an API call, which we did last time, we are making a contract interaction on the reward NFT contract, and over there we are making an interaction with the update NFT function. Yep. So, and the argument which are being passed is of the argument which we are receiving from the event signature. So that's how it is happening. So it is kind of an orchestration of two flows, if you will see, and Kwala is taking care of that. And let me show if I will roll the dice again, I should get six. Okay. If I do it six, now I got 12. Now I got 10. So over here, if you will see that it's a two transaction process. Once I do this, then automatically internally it takes care of this part. So let me see if my NFT status. Yep, yep. As per the condition that if I go above 10, then my NFT will be NFT Pichu. Okay, so that's how the particular game is. If I will go beyond 20, then it will be basically right. So let's take another example. If you want to go to the next level, like this particular registration of two process, if you want to go beyond, you can also go beyond that. You can create one more YAML. Now on top of where you are inside the trigger, you can provide the update NFT and the contract address of this particular reward NFT, and then you can perform an action. So what will happen is in that case, that whenever someone will be adding points, Kwala will take care of this. Kwala will performing an action on the update NFT. Then again, an event will be emitted, which again will Kwala will take place, and Kwala will pass it, making an API call. Okay, so let's go to the more use case, and now I have a bridge. Like Ashish explained that how exactly in case of bridging we can use Kwala. Let's take it at the very basic level as of now. If I talk about bridge, uh, so we have like two chains. We want to perform an interaction, and over one side there will be one contract which will be performing a locking. Another side will be doing minting or releasing.
Guys, we can also, whatever you have your thoughts on bridges, right? You can definitely post all the questions here because right now what we are going to do is exactly we're going to take the questions that you have, the thoughts that you have, the understanding that you have, right? And then we are going to ultimately present that what would have been different when this two would have been, integrated. Right? That's what Tushar is going to explain over here. And just to make sure, that this goes way beyond engagement. If you have any questions regarding bridge, any of your understandings about how the bridge does, right? You can post out here. Otherwise, Tushar can continue with the session.
Okay, so in case of basic bridge, there is chain one, chain two, and over the chain one there is locking, and you could do releasing and minting. So over chain one, if there is a bridge contract and you want to perform a bridge, so what could be a native approach that you will be writing a backend logic where you will be listening to the event and then you will be performing some kind of validation and then you will be performing releasing and minting over the other side. In case of Kwala, you can also automate this particular process, and you can simply provide trigger and action. Inside the trigger, you can provide contract address and event signature. Like this is the contract address of which contract and event signature of the locking function. And in the action, you can again provide the call and make a contract invocation on the chain to bridge contract. So this is how Kwala can help with the bridging part. It is simple process, but bridges are not that simple. If we take it to another level where exactly how actually bridges are there, where you need to take care of the event that you are receiving at your backend service is the authentic one or not, or the key which is interacting with the other side is not being hacked or not doing any kind of malicious activity, and the particular messages are in order or not. So there are a lot of things which need to be taken care by a bridge. And if we talk about more of such scenarios as well, where managing of the private key is a concern that if someone wants to build a bridge, whether they would be happy to give their private key to Paula, or they want to take control of that particular private key on their side, but they want that to simplify their process, where the event listening and decentralization process, they can easily do that in case of using Kwala. So in case of bridges, the first thing is that these are not centralized one; these are decentralized. There are many nodes are running which are listening to the event listener, listening to the locking mechanism on chain one side, and so we can, instead of running one Kwala YAML, you can have multiple Kwala YAMLs runnings, and whenever in each YAML you can provide that whenever you get such kind of event, you perform an action to my this particular backend service, and this particular backend service is up to you. If you want to design, you can run it on your server, or you can use Lambda function or Google Cloud functions, right? And the particular private key is also up to you, that how you want to manage them. You want to put them inside some simple database or encrypted form, or you want to use AWS schema. So basically, Koala helps you if you want more control, where you want your backend service to do the validation of the event, and then the private key remains with you as well. So that particular functionality can be achieved using Koala as well. Okay, so there are more solutions as well, and there is like messaging passing. So as we talked about bridging, where you can bridge your asset like an NFT or token from one end to another end. If you want simply an invocation, which is being called as a message passing, you can also build that arbitrage solution that there are dexes basically at one platform. The token value is going like 100, and at another place it is going 105. You want to automate this process where you do the comparison, and then you want to buy from at one place and then sell it. Such kind of solutions can be done. Monitoring wallets and smart contracts, that is an interesting part. Sometimes what happens is that there are programs are running which are basically being managed by hackers. So what the hackers do is they kind of running their servers, and which are kind of attacking get the private key. So basically there remains one kind of an account which is performing an hacking part. So investigation teams or police wants to monitor those kind of accounts. So using Koala they can do it. Inside the trigger they can provide that they want to monitor this particular contact address, and whenever this particular contact address do any kind of activity, either it sends some kind of fund, gets a fund, interact with the contact address, they will get a notification to their backend service. So it will help them in some time whenever they imagine that hacker is converting their USDT to fiat by any process. So it can help in their way. Bridging solution, as we have already discussed, bring own keys. So basically, it's a kind of a feature where you can bring your own key. As someone asked in the chat that how we can take control of our own keys. So there are multiple solutions available, and Koala supports AWS KML solution as well, where you bring your AWS KML solution. And because in case of the private key, if you give us a private key, then you cannot do anything with that. Once we have seen the private key, or we have read or copy pasted, so you cannot uh, rotate the key. But in case of AWS KMS, it provides you the functionality to rotate the keys. So you can revoke the access from us. Price feeds. So imagine that there is some kind of a contract that you have deployed and which is being accepted by the market, and there is a valuation going on. It is pumping in the market. Now you want other kind of chains to have the price of that particular contract. So such kind of functionality you can do. If your contract is changing price, like it is going from $100 to 105, and you want other kind of chains or solution contact address to get notified about them. So using Kwala, you can also do that. Cross-border solutions, you can also build such kind of those orchestrate complex processes like Web2 and Web3 that we discussed about the celebrity solution. So such kind of product you can build using Kwala, and there is many more. Yeah. So that's it from my side. Now back to Ashish. It is over to you.
Right. I really want, Sinachi has a question. How do you, use KMS with Koala?
Okay, so using KMS with Kwala, you create your KMS and then you provide your ARN. After you provide us the ARN, whenever we will map it with your workflow, whatever is being deployed. Whenever there will be a transaction need to be done, so we will use whatever the ARN you have provided to sign the transaction.
Okay, I think it is time that we have actually concluded some of the parts with Koala can work, and you know what is the product, where is the market for it, and then how can you utilize it. Where is the call server where you can actually drop your questions so that we can help you out, not just in webinar where you can actually drop the questions, right? But in the community where we are available 24/7 to help you out. And so that's it. I think it is time to drop your questions if you guys have any. And okay, so Sahil, can you drop the poll?
Yeah. So, guys, the poll is already live. On the bottom right corner, you can see a grid option. Just select that, and the second option available is polls. So just open the poll, and the question is live there, where you can just cast your vote.
Basically, what we want to understand is that, how we can increase our interaction with you and provide you more information about the webinar only. How we can interact and come up with more use cases so that you guys can actually understand and we can also bring some more values and engage with the community, right? So just to gain that attraction, what we have done is that we have created a poll right now. If you go to the bottom side wrist at the last right hand side, you can see the grid over there where you can go to the polls, right? If you go to the polls, we have just a single question where we actually just wanted to understand that, today's webinar, were you able to understand that, what are the qualities of that Koala host? And did we, were we able to bring some value to you, right? So the question is live. Please vote on that question so that it's really going to boost our motivation over here.
Ashish, one Sepolia is also relevant. Yeah,
Right. Okay, so one Sapolia heat again, everyone. This is again some banner that we are heating. So one Sapolia heat is available for everyone. Please sign up to the Kwala.network. It's very easy. It's very difficult to attain, but we somehow are giving why because we want our community to be engaged, and I think this is one pretty easy way to achieve it. Right. So please go, please sign up on the link, please check this out. And I hope that this ultimately is something that you guys will be working with in the future. Arun said that I learned from an ad about a bounty opting Koala credits even support. Can you explain the steps to participate? Kind of asked that whether there is a place where you could interact with the code as of this platform. Kana, I would like to tell you that the Wisconsin maybe that we have, right? We are ourselves a developer, we are there, right? You can actually interact with us over there and we'll be happy to out each and every interaction that you can, the any question that you ask, right? In any manner. Questions to the Discord channel is already been posted. The link to the Discord channel, please feel free to join. And
Okay, so if you will go to the website and if you are definitely a new user, click on start building. You will get an option login with Google. Choose one account. Continue. And then you need to connect your MetaMask in my browser. If it is, yeah. So regarding that particularly with the AWS KMS, if you will give us the access, you will give us the ARM, but you can rotate your keys. So if you will give us today the access and whatever the thing you wanted to achieve, and you revoke the access tomorrow, then we won't be having the access. Then we won't be able to perform any transaction against that. So that's how it makes your keys secure. And if you feel that the particular task that the writing operation on the other side you want to get it perform, and you can whitelist our backend keys, make it you want make it easy for yourself, then you can also do that, and then you can perform the blacklisting backend wallet.
answer this question. And
Ashish, I would like to take just 1 minute just to explain this purpose. So, guys, you need to come to the dashboard. As you have seen, that I performed Google sign in and selected one account. Then you will need to connect your MetaMask wallet. Once you done do this and recharge free credit, click on this. Yep. So you will get free koalas. Then you need to perform deploy workflow. Okay. And I've done this. Yep. So it is deploying a workflow. Yep, done. So now then I will get an option join Discord and claim municipal aid. Then it will be simple. Just click this button. You will move Discord and in Discord there will be steps just to claim and that's it. It's taking time. Yeah. So those are the steps.
okay, so to answer the question, I think we can see how we can achieve Koala. So Polya will through Koala. And again, so there's another question that are you guys using AI like GPT or everything Koala? So as of now, no, we are not. Okay. We have just built a bot so that you guys can actually understand the complicated stuff. For example, if you guys have any doubt while writing the YAML file, right, then this bot that we have created, right, this ultimately helps you out for the creation of the YAML so that your workflow can be created quite easily. But yes, we do want, to take it further within the further releases. We definitely want, these scenarios where Koala can be integrated with AI agents, right, and do a lot of stuff via again AI automation. So again, those are the things that they're going to work on. We're going to release very soon. Rajiv, I hope that answers your questions. And I think that's all. I hope that we are able to answer the question that you guys have. And Kana, again, like we're ultimately going to end the webinar today, as of now. But feel free to ask all these questions in the Discord community again, right? The question that you ask over there is ultimately going to be, recorded, and everybody can go through that, right? Whatever doubts they have. So it's going to bring a lot of value. And thanks again. Thanks everybody for joining. If any of you guys have missed the poll, please vote on the poll. It's ultimately going to help us out a lot in improving our webinar, right? Thank you again for dialing. Have a very good evening, a very good day. Thank you.
Sure. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.